Yo, 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 the biggest thug is in the house, y'all, with my black hat and my headphones. Got my coffee, gonna rap to the music, gonna talk to my friend Tim on the Think Different podcast. Go Texans! Welcome to the Think Different podcast. Your host, Will, TLD, Mavala Dragon, WV Productions, Rafidas is here. That's right, I got like 5 different personalities, and I'm here today with my co-host, my friend, my buddy, my former co-worker at the Apple Store. It is Vacation Tim. And why do we call him Vacation Tim? Because he goes away every 3 weeks. How you doing, Tim?
Good, man. Screw this podcast. You should become a rapper.
I'm thinking to myself, imagine going to Sirius XM. You sit there, you're getting interviewed by the people and be like, you know what? I could inspire an entire generation of people. Like, I could be Donald Trump 2.
I don't know if that's a...
I could be Obama 2. I mean, I got the hat.
Okay.
I got the hat, so I'm on my way.
You could be like, has there ever been a wrestler that has rapped before? I mean, this is a new age kind of thing, right?
Absolutely. There's a guy named R-Truth right now who's like, ever since he was a kid, John Cena was his biggest fan, even though he's older than John Cena. And he raps to the ring all the time.
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make it. That's the point. He's an idiot.
Yeah.
So, welcome everybody to the Think Different podcast. Thank you for joining us. It is 2020. The new year has arrived, and we are going to talk about all of our predictions of what we think is going to happen, not only for Apple, but also Apple Store. We thought we'd get right back into the Apple Store mix. We kind of laid off it a little bit, and we're going to go right back to it. But make sure you follow us on Instagram. Follow us at ThinkDiffPod on Twitter, at Think Different Podcast on Instagram, and check us out also at facebook.com and check out all of our Facebook interactions. Tim, you have any 2020 resolutions?
Yeah, it's just to take more time and enjoy life for what it is.
That's good, Tim. That's really good. Everyone's really interested in what you just said. Thank you. I am going to do...
I didn't even know what it is. It just lagged. I don't know. I didn't see it. Sorry.
So I'm going to do everything I can to not be a dick.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, so that's what my 2020 is going to be about. But enough about me and my dickishness. Let's talk about Apple. Now, we skipped the news this week, but I got to tell you, there is a lot of stuff going on at CES out there. So check out Mac Rumors. They do a good job reviewing everything of what's going on at CES. Did you see the number one thing I saw that stuck out to me was this cooling system that will chill your wine and your Coke within a matter of 3 to 4 minutes.
Oh, that's awesome.
You put it in this machine, and then there's like a color bar on the outside. It's like all red, then it starts going blue, and once it hits the top, it's complete, and it's completely chilled.
That's cool.
Yep.
I always like seeing the TVs that they make.
The TVs are... Here's the thing about TVs. There's so much stuff, and now the micro LEDs are starting to take over. That's like the number one TV style now, because micro LEDs is a better quality image over plasma, over LCD, over anything, and that's becoming the most popular thing. And plus, they're talking about 8K and how they can upscale your footage to make it crisper, even though it's being upscaled. And I'm like, who needs an 8K television?
Yeah, right. Like, it just almost gets too annoying.
It's very annoying. I don't get it. I just don't get it, people. I'm just... whatever. But CES is still going on as it speaks. But look at all the different shows. Look up some YouTube videos of what's going on out there. There is some really cool stuff out there that they're building. LG's out there. Samsung's out there. Hell, Apple's out there for their privacy part of their convention. So they're going to be out. They're talking about privacy, stuff, whatever.
Are your friends DJI there?
Oh, yeah. So speaking of that, Amex has decided not to cover it because of physical damage. So So here's this. I asked them, I would need to know specifically where the physical damage is on the device and take pictures of it because I want to know. And for weeks, I'm still trying to get my 10% discount on the form. It never went through. I decided just to take the drone back at this point. And here's my plan. I'm going to let everyone know the plan. I hope it's left on my doorstep. Because I'll just say...
You hope like the drone's just left on the doorstep and
they leave, and that it just stays there, and magically it disappears.
I see what you're doing.
Yep, and hopefully they'll never listen to this podcast. Otherwise, because of the timing, and I have a wedding coming up, I did get myself a DJI mini drone. I figured that's the cheapest drone I could possibly get that could do me the best quality. So I bought that. I'm going to try it out, see how that works out. And I have my iPhone 11 Pro. I went on a spending spree this week.
Yeah, man, jeez.
Jesus.
Santa was good to you.
I spent $1,300 on this iPhone with Apple Care and everything. I got the highest possible gig. And next week we'll talk about reviewing it because I want more time with it to get an idea of how I really feel with it. And then we'll discuss the details. And not to mention, we might be getting together this weekend for more YouTube videos. Our plan is to do more YouTube content. We are planning on doing something about how to fix an iMac and then talk about a little about home automation because my home is filled with home automation. I'm automated.
I'm basically automated.
Yep. Tim's not automated yet. He's still trying to get it. He's trying to adapt. He's trying to just have a couch in his home.
Yeah, I just have Sonos speakers, they're cool. I mean, I love them, don't get me wrong, but it's not full automation.
No, not at all. So let's talk about Apple in 2020 and let's find out what you think, Tim. Let's just make this easy. I'm just going to mention one thing and you tell me the one feature that they need to add to this product that you would consider buying or upgrading to.
Yeah, I like that. Okay.
All right.
Let's go.
All right. So the first thing I'm going to start off with is the iPad. What is the one thing that the iPad needs that you would say, I got to get this iPad?
I'm not really asking anything else more from the iPad.
And this iPad has that. It doesn't matter. It could be hardware, software. It doesn't matter. Anything you can think of that an iPad needs that your current generation you don't think could do. I already got mine in my head. I'll give you mine since I already have one.
Yeah.
And this could be on my current iPad or not. I need to have Final Cut Pro on it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Now, here's why. Because Final Cut Pro can run on that machine. Like, I could do things on the iPad. It's not going to be my replacement of my 16-inch MacBook Pro. There's no way. But what it could do is I could store my content in there, maybe do my editing in there, and then I'll be able to reference it over to the computer. And that, for me, if I need the power behind it, because right now the one that I have is the base model, 9.7-inch one before the new 10.5 came out, I would absolutely get rid of my iPad and go with an iPad Pro, especially that the USB-C does understand external drives. And if they can understand Final Cut files and I can edit on them, then that changes the game for me, because then I can start using external drives more for my video content. And that's what I would really like to do.
Then does that get into the conversation of your iPad being a replacement for your Mac?
No.
Is that a step in the right direction?
No, I'm not ever going to replace... An iPad's never going to be my replacement for a Mac, ever. There's no way.
Okay.
It's not possible. Not for my power that I need behind it. I need the graphics card to really drive it. Maybe in 10 years if they could get the graphics card to be that great, but right now, there's no chance of that happening.
I think I discovered what I want, and it's not a hardware thing. It's more of a software thing. Right now, you're able to run two apps at the same time, like split screen, but it's mainly only Apple-generated applications you can do that with. I want to be able to do that with third-party applications and be able to multitask. They have increased it a lot more since older generations of the iPad OS. I would like to see that better integrate with the third-party mobile apps and stuff like that.
And they could do that very easily.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
And I think any iPad could do that. So really, that's more of a software change you're kind of looking for, more so than a physical hardware. Because I think for Final Cut Pro, I think for Final Cut Pro, because I don't have an iPad Pro, I just have a regular iPad. But for me, getting a Pro, to me, it's just a bigger screen right now. There's nothing to it other than speed and Face ID. It's not enough to get me to change. But if they can get some Pro apps in there that can really utilize the power, and Photoshop is already on its way, and they already have Logic in there in some ways, I think they could do it. So that's me. But let's talk about the Mac. So let's talk about changes on the Mac. Now, we just had a refreshed 16-inch Mac that seems to be getting pretty good reviews. So for 2020, I can already tell you the one thing I'm looking forward to, and I think this is something they've been needing to do for a while. The iMac has to change design.
Really? In what way?
So I need something. If you look at that XDR $5,000 display, imagine that being an iMac.
Oh, you're saying iMac specifically. I apologize.
Right.
I thought you meant Mac in general.
No, you buttard. I'm talking about iMac. I said iMac right at the beginning, too.
Yeah, you're right.
All right.
No, yeah, I would agree with that. It needs to kind of match what this new kind of technology, this new look that the Mac Pro is emulating. I agree.
Because it looks nicer and it looks fancier, and I think it's something that would look really cool on a desk. Very that futuristic look that Apple always had, and for right now, it doesn't feel like that anymore with the iMac. The Mac Pro and the XDR display totally does. I would even say that the MacBook Pro a little bit does, even the MacBook Air, but I feel like the iMac's just been the same for so long that they need to change something in there. I think a refresh design is the way to go for that. At least that's the Mac product that I think this year they need to focus on and try to get more people to buy. I mean, don't get me wrong, the iMac now is still great. I mean, as far as a great computer.
Right.
But for me, it's like I have not bought a desktop iMac since 2007.
Oh, wow.
Like, it's been that long.
Yeah. Like, my current setup right now is I have the old Apple Thunderbolt display. And
how'd you get one of those?
eBay.
Jeez.
And
Rich man.
I have it hooked up to no, dude, it was actually really cheap. And it's a beautiful display. It's huge, 27-inch. And I have it hooked up to an old MacBook Air. And I think I mentioned a couple episodes prior that I am looking for a new computer. But since I have this display, I'm looking for an older Mac Mini just to be able to hook up to this, because I don't really need a portable right now because I have my iPad and all I need is really just this desktop because I'm not really going to be bringing my computer anywhere.
This brings me to a good idea. In a future episode, before you buy your computer, we should role play. That's right, everybody. Me and Tim should role play together. And the idea is that maybe I'm the specialist trying to sell you on the right Mac for you to buy. And I'm just going to use exactly how an Apple person would talk to you.
Yeah, I like that.
All right.
I'd be so down for that.
I am so down to role play.
Role play.
All right. Now, do you have any Mac? I mean, I don't know if you really had an idea for a Mac product that you were thinking about changing at all or upgrading. I mean, to me, the obvious one is also for them to get a cheaper Mac.
That's what I was going to go on lines with. I need an affordable model, kind of like very comparable to a Chromebook, for Apple to kind of produce something like that.
Oh, we have a solution. It's the iPad.
Well, I know. See, and that's
you. That would be your response because you're the guy that is saying the iPad's replacing
myself. It. Yeah. But I just, from being a student, it's very expensive to purchase like a MacBook Pro or even like sometimes a MacBook Air. And, a lot of kids going into their freshman year of college, because they want to it's almost like a social thing. They want to fit in, so they want these new technology, and everyone's going to be having an Apple computer at universities mostly. So I wish that Apple would come out with kind of like a very similar to the power of the MacBook, the 12-inch model, but have that in a very cheaper model.
And that's the thing about Chromebooks. People are flocking to them just because of the price of them, but that was
like $300.
But it's no different. But it's no different than Dell was back in the day. But still, even at where I work, they still want the Mac platform. They want that software. They want that hardware. They want that platform in there because there's barely problems that you run into with them, and that's why I like them so much. And I wish they would just find a way to get that MacBook Air down to a cheaper design. Yeah. I really do. Even if it comes,
I agree.
I would sacrifice room storage just to give more iCloud storage if needed. It's just something.
And would it be crazy? Would it be crazy to say like they can use recycled material to make the Mac cheaper, so they don't have to produce with their actual?
That's basically what an iPhone model is. That's like an SE was a perfect model for that. And speaking of that, what a segue, because iPhone was the next thing I was going to talk about for 2020. Now the rumor already is that they're going to have this SE model come out that's supposed to be $400 or something like that, very, very cheap for people to buy and use. So, Tim, what does the 2020 iPhone need to be like? What is the feature that is going to change your mind on what you have right now?
So I have an iPhone 10, and I think the biggest feature, I don't give two craps about 5G and whatever that's going to be. So that doesn't really matter to me. But if they can showcase something that is at this 3D or AR experience that is very similar to the lines of what Samsung and all those Android companies are doing, that allows you to get that experience of these different AR environments within the within the Apple platform, that'd be cool.
Are you talking about like what you see on the screen right now? Because they already do it. Like you could like take
if you could buy like an accessory to put the phone into, like with the goggles and stuff like that.
We'll talk about that when we have our new product ideas. As far as the phone goes, like for me, it's always about video for me with this and about camera for me, because I use this as a camera as my wedding business. So I have justification of why I want to upgrade. I mean, I just spent thanks to a generous discount from the German Zoobs, I was able to get my iPhone AppleCare in a case for about $1,300. And you got to remember, that is how much the iPhone basically is without all the extra stuff. Changing this phone now is going to be very hard because I've already tested it out in a couple spots. But after this weekend, I'll have a better idea of what I'm thinking of. I don't know what they're going to be able to add into it. I mean, the notch going away would be a big thing. I think that'd be a nice little thing to get rid of that and just go forward without it. But as far as like the physical phone goes, I don't know what hardware feature they could add that would make me change it. I mean, the camera did it. The bigger battery did it for a lot of people this year, including me. So maybe it could be that simple.
Yeah. But like that's what's so hard. Like, where does like the innovation have a stalemate? You know what I mean? Like, where does it stall? You know, there's only so much you could do with these phones till the next big thing comes out.
Like, even the Touch ID sensor built into the screen wouldn't make a difference for me.
Oh, no.
Not at all. And you're at a 10 still. Which, by the way, you probably need to get a battery change soon.
Yeah, you're probably right.
All right.
I should check what the percentage is at.
Yep. Right now, iPhone, we really are kind of dumbfounded on what really could be added to it. I mean, other than the cheaper model, I think for me that'd be the bigger thing, is that they have a cheaper model so everybody can have an iPhone, including someone like my mother-in-law who does not have an iPhone, who still has a flip phone. That is something I think everybody needs. Everyone
Wait, cheaper
needs
than the $699 price?
Oh, God, yes. Jesus.
Yeah?
It's expensive for a phone, dude. I mean, some people don't think that phones are that big of a deal. My mother-in-law would think I'm crazy buying this phone right now.
Oh, yeah, $1,300 is crazy. It's crazy. But $699 is kind of worth it, in my opinion.
It can be. It depends on the person. But I still think a $400 phone is a good price for... But you know how Apple is. If they're not going to make a cheaper iPhone... If they made a cheaper iPhone, they should make a cheaper Mac, too. You know what I'm saying? You feel me?
Yeah.
You feel me? All right.
I feel you.
All right.
Just for anyone that cares, my percentage is at 92%.
Damn, you took really good care of your battery then. You're at 92%.
Yeah, it's whatever, you know. I used to work at Apple.
Yeah. After that, he doesn't know anything that's going on in the world. All right. So the next thing is wearables. So I thought I'd combine anything you wear in your ear, your neck, your wrist, your legs, anything. Doesn't matter what it is. We call it under a wearable. Big year last year with the AirPods getting a big upgrade. The Apple Watch kind of stayed the same. Now, last episode, we talked about what we want different in each product. And I said the Apple Watch needs a different design. And that's still something I'm going to go with. As far as a wearable goes, the Apple Watch needs something different in design. They have to include some kind of sleep feature. And they have to make the battery better. And those are the biggest things.
Battery better.
Yeah, the battery has to be better in this.
Yeah, I agree.
They're not going to get to that Fitbit level. There's just no way. But its design, I think, that needs to change, and the battery life needs to change. I need to be able to wear this on my wrist at night, like at least once, and be able to go a whole day.
Ooh. What if they made like a model similar to like that Fitbit that's just like the cylinder type?
Well, they obviously have a pretty big battery in that cylinder because they have to... accommodate somewhere, but also it doesn't do a lot of things, and it doesn't necessarily require an iPhone to be with you. I mean, with the Apple Watch, it doesn't necessarily need it, but the phone has to be on and somewhere in your vicinity, at least on. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. So every day on the bus, I listen to music or a podcast. I forget that I could just go on my watch, press the button, and just listen to a music or a podcast. I always go to my phone. I keep forgetting that, and my AirPods wirelessly connected.
Oh, so I go to my watch.
See, I'm not in a rhythm yet for it. That's why I'm a failure. I'm a failure, Tim. Is there something what is something that you need to change in 2020? What does Apple need to do to make you upgrade your watch or your AirPods?
Maybe like change the body design, and I'm not that part. Like
that's
make
right,
it like
but that's exactly
different...
what I want. Like something, yeah, that's exactly what I said.
No, I know what you're saying, but like make it different colors. Make it different colors.
Oh, yeah.
Make it like, etched with like designs in them. Like Apple can have like a design team design like different like caricatures in it. Dude, if they came out with one with Mickey Mouse ears around,
I was waiting for you to say that.
I'd buy that. I'd be the first one in line at the Apple Store.
Nah, I think Tara would be the first one in line. My wife will be the first one in line. For that.
I'll be the second one in line. I'll be fine with that.
I think it'd be fun to watch you two fight.
Ladies and gentlemen, did something like that,
WrestleMania with Tim versus Tara.
When they came out with the Nike Apple Watch, I was the first one in our Apple Store to get it.
Why?
Because the Nike, I used to use the Nike. They had like a Nike Fitbit quote. I'm using air quotes that you can't see, and I use that all the time until I upgraded to my first Apple Watch, and then I was like, wow, but I'm gonna miss this Nike watch because it just had all the running features in it, the whole running app of the Nike. It integrated with my phone.
Is it really worth it to pay more money for that? That was just ridiculous.
Well, at that time it was, and then a year later they're like, "Oh, you get everything now."
Yeah, it doesn't matter. There's no difference.
The difference at the time was you got the Nike watch faces, you got the integrated Nike app. I didn't care how much it costed. The fact that it was a Nike watch and it was an Apple Watch and they were together, I bought it. So if you put freaking Mickey Mouse on there, dude, you got all my money.
I like the idea of having brands, but then they're going to have to start charging more for it in order to make up for the cost of putting like a Mickey on it. It'd have to be like an exclusive, like limited edition, like Hermes is right now. Hermes stuff is really expensive, and it's mostly the band. It's not so, and then the watch face that goes with it. But beyond that,
right.
I think the brand idea is a good idea, but I think it would knock the watch up expensive, maybe too far. The software changes that we need now. Is there something that we haven't talked about yet? From a software standpoint, is there something you want to add to your Mac, your iPhone, some kind of software? And you kind of alluded to it with the AI.
Yeah. It's just like I want to be able to put on like a pair of glasses, or like
that's a new product. We're getting to that point, Tim.
But
let me get to that.
Like let's say like Apple's going into this direction of Apple services, and there's a rumor that there's going to be this all-encompassing one subscription and you'll get all of them. If they're focusing on like Apple Arcade, and they can now integrate these like AR capability games into the iPhone and into these quote-unquote glasses, what have you, that is next evolution stuff that's at the palm of your hands in your iPhone. That'd be freaking awesome. Like, I loved when they demoed the Lego application using AR at the one of the conferences, and that was just seeing that was just incredible. But imagine seeing that and having it be on your face, and you don't have to actually hold the phone up in directions and tilt it, get right angles. Imagine being able to just have it on your as a wearable. That's
the thing about AI is it looks cool when you use the phone and you kind of move it around, but it's not something you're gonna want to do all the time. Exactly. It'd be cool for like games, like if you're doing like a get together with friends and you guys could play a game that you could use, something like that. But you also have to find those apps, and that's also very hard too. I don't think it's that easy to find apps that are AI. Can you search AI and find everything that you need? As far as software changes for me, I really don't have much to really think of right now that I think they could add. Okay. So for 2020, now we're talking about a brand new product. Now, Tim, you've alluded to it for I don't know how long, the entire episode. What is it that you are looking forward to in 2020 that Apple should produce?
AR smart glasses.
Really, Tim? I didn't catch that coming.
And like, what can they call them? I don't know, like, I've heard the rumor that the operating system would be called ROS, like Reality OS, I guess, or whatever. But like, what could they be called? Like Apple Glass, Apple something,
Apple Face
Mask.
I don't
know, like, yeah, Air Glass. I don't know, Air Glasses. So I mean, something like that. That's next level stuff. If they're trying to make a entry into this market of AR, AI, and stuff like that, this is the right step in the direction, but they had to hit it out of the ballpark, and it's got to go like 400 feet out of the ballpark. If you're taking a loyal group of people that are in this Apple community and they're kind of on the edge of their toes, waiting for this next biggest AR innovation, Apple's got to be the forefront for that.
One of the things I like the most is, and especially like the Mac Mini product, is that you can hook that up to your TV and kind of be your solution to everything on the screen. What I really would like is something like that, where you can have a 57-inch television or a flat screen, whatever it has to be, a display, it doesn't matter what it is, and that they can build a software that connects directly to your TV, it connects to all your streaming apps. But what I don't want to do is have to go to different apps to do different things. I want to have it all in one centralized search, a very smart one, not with a stupid remote either, to do it all. So all I want to do is say, hey, blah, do this. And the flat screen just does it all. I feel like right now there's nothing out there that could really do it that well, that can incorporate everything in your digital life. I want to be able to Final Cut Pro on that screen. I want to be able to anything, watch television, and connects to everything that I have. I want to try to find that all-in-one solution. How the iPhone took a music player, a phone, and an internet communicator and put it together as one device.
Yeah, I like that.
And that's something we don't have. And I really hope that Apple is Apple is the brand that could do something like that. But there's such a bad competition with everybody out there because everyone's got their own ideas with Google. I mean, 2007, that wasn't like this. Apple just took all of their core products and took products that really weren't doing that well and just created something completely new. And that's what I really want them to do. And I want to be able to do it in the home.
Why can't a Mac Mini or Mac Pro?
Because of the OS. It's not an OS that works that well. If I do, I barely use Siri on my Mac. In fact, I barely use it at all because first off, it's hiding in the corner. I wish I could just say, "Hey Siri," and do it. It would be much better that I could do that, but it doesn't really have that feature built into it. So there's stuff missing, and I think the OS needs to be better. It just looks like a desktop screen.
Sure. Yeah.
And I had to go on the web. I had to go to DirecTV. I'd have to do too many steps.
Right. Like what you're describing is possible. It's just not as user friendly and intuitive.
Correct. And that's what I'm looking forward to. So I don't think that's coming out this year, but hey, God can hope,
Sure.
That's our 2020 predictions for Apple, what we think is going to go on this year. But also we wanted to address our former colleagues working at the Apple stores right now on what ideas we think that the Apple store could do to make their experiences better in 2020. Now, Tim and I were not around for the 2019. I basically was there for a month before I left Apple. And they just implemented the new system, how they did the times of quoting repairs. But I was there for like 2 weeks before that. I left for that. Now, what can they do in 2020 that would make it better for your experience? Now, one of the things I said, people come into the store all the time for simple swaps like keyboards, mouse, cable swaps are probably the biggest thing. I wish there was a way that you could just do that all online. And then Apple either just sends you the cable or the replacement based on a conversation, or maybe even if you take a picture and send it to the chat or something of the condition of the cable. And every cable has a serial number built on it. That's how you confirm it's a real one. And then they send you the replacement overnight, or you go to the Apple store to pick it up without having an appointment or having to talk to anybody.
Yeah, that'd be a great idea. I'm not sure why they don't do that. That seems like an easy
So they
fix.
kind of do that now. Well, they give you like 5 to 10 minute wait appointments, but you're still spending 20 to 25 minutes just to get a cable swap.
Sure.
Bottom line. And they may not even have the cable you're even looking for too. So that avoids that problem as well. So I kind of like the idea.
It's interesting that they allow you to send out your Beats from home, and then you only have to go into the store and pick up the new Beats or your repaired Beats. Why can't they just do that with the power adapters or with the USB cables?
They want someone to physically look at it, but for me, I would like the idea of someone being able to either go online, say, hey, if you need your cable swap, here's a faster way, or here's how the Genius Bar is changing based on, we don't even need to see you.
Yeah, but isn't that the same variability with the Beats? Like,
well, like the watch, as an example, you send your watch out after they send you the watch, but it depends on the issue that you're having. See, the issue makes the difference of what you're having. Beats go out no matter what. Watches go out no matter what. But the watch is a little different only because, let's say it's physical damage, well, then you got to pay for it anyway. So they might as well send you the watch first and then give you the...
Well, yeah.
So there are certain situations I think that works. But that's one of the things I thought. And this is something I really want them to do because I feel the creative team is completely underutilized for this, but I wanted to bring back 1-to-1 for new purchases, getting free sessions of help, maybe only 2 or 3, and they're a half hour long. But that convinces people to go to an Apple store and buy it there. Because I hear every day at work, people are technically challenged for a lot of stuff. It's amazing how people don't even know they have a backup, even though they're backing up the last year. How many times do you hear that?
Yeah, no, of course. But so what? They would go for a free session, and then if they like that session, they can then pay for the additional sessions.
There's no payment. It would just
no
be
payment at all. It's
no
just
payment
all
at all. You buy an Apple product, you get to have a session that you book online, just like how one-to-one was. You come in for the half hour and you learn in a one-to-one setting, but you only get 3 options within 3 months or something. It's very limited. Just to get the idea of people to go into an Apple store to buy it there. Because let's say if you buy it somewhere else, well, that option's not available to you.
Yeah. And I would say to, rebut back to you is that the Apple answer to your demand or your want is, well, they'll go to personal setup to set up the device, and then it's the responsibility of the employee at the personal setup to educate them about further educational opportunities.
But that's changed too, because personal setup is really the customer setting it up and doing it all themselves and only asking questions when they do it. It's not hands-on. You're not supposed to touch it. It's something that's missing that really made the Apple Store special, was that one-to-one and that helpful experience where now it's becoming more like an assembly line. I feel like there's not much of a personalization to it, and I think that's more on how the people are being trained. Not so much.
Yeah,
not so much on that, which ties into my next thing about Apple Store change in 2020. Send the geniuses back out for training, because Lord knows a lot of them need it. And I'm not going to judge anybody in our store who's a genius. I went out there in the very last wave when I was allowed to work on a certain type of Apple product where I had to take apart everything, where now this Mac, it's 5 parts. Where everything used to be 15 parts, everything's 5 parts now.
Right.
And honestly, people break those Macs a lot. I'm sure they do. And for me, you can't even work on a machine, be scared to break it. I'm sure now they probably have to do that in the store. They have to give them a machine to work on. There's no way they don't. But do they have the older MacBook Airs? Do they have the older ones that are still able to be repaired? That's what I'm talking about.
I don't think so. Yeah, no.
And it's not just the current stuff, but the old stuff too. And that's what Genius Training did. Not to mention, I think it makes you want to stay longer.
Yeah, because that's an incentive, right? You being able to
you go out there, you could quit in 2 weeks, but I think, for your experience, you're going to want to make the most of it. And honestly, a company paid $20,000 for you to go out there and learn. Yeah. At least stay a year.
Yeah.
And my last thing for Apple Store changes in 2020, and this has a lot to do with the keyboard repair, sending more things out to our depot for repairs. For those who don't know, a lot of Macs, or used to be, sent out for repairs because it's easier to do it at a facility than it is to do it in-house. Now, in countries like Canada, they do everything in-house.
Yep.
Where in the United States, we have these facilities that would do the repair and get it back to you in 3 to 5 days, the same turnaround time that we gave in the store anyway.
Yeah.
So for me, they got to get back to that. But right now with this new keyboard program and the battery program that they have out, they're doing everything in-house, and that to me is crazy. They have to hire more geniuses to do that. And I can tell you, based on my conversations I had, it doesn't sound like they're getting them a lot of time. I talked about the quote turnaround time to get keyboard time.
I was just going to ask that.
Is crazy.
What is it?
It's high.
Do you remember?
2 weeks at least.
Jeez. Yeah, I can't imagine fielding
2 weeks without your computer
conversation.
And no loaner program on top of it. So
yeah.
So that's
why
why.
iPad.
So those are a couple of things I think they need to work on in the store, and that ties in all areas of the business. You talk about sales, offering these sessions, Genius Bar improving, creatives getting more opportunities to do more things, and more passion to make you want to stay in Apple. Because I was there for 11 years, folks, and that was during the times when they had all these kind of things. Now they don't.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you've seen it all.
I used to be able to pull a cable off the wall and just give it to somebody and just replace the wire. Now I can't even do that anymore, especially if I didn't have anything in stock. You're telling me I can't send someone home with a wire? Screw that. I'm just gonna go to the wall and grab it.
Yeah.
What other retail store does that? That's pretty cool. How cool is that we get to do that?
Big part of what Angela did into enhancing the retail experience in an Apple store is kind of changing the layout of what the store looks like. So for a lot of the newer stores, they have this newer layout, but it gets a little confusing. Like when she explains it to an Apple employee, we're all like, "Oh yeah, that makes sense. Oh, that's great. Yeah, like this is really laid out. You know, that it should go there. Like the flow is gonna be a lot nicer." But to a customer, they don't know that.
Right.
It's always so busy in a store, and it's overwhelming that they can't decide where everything is because they change out the store again. And how annoying was it to be on point in an Apple store, a Genius Bar on point, and saying like, "Oh yeah, I checked you in. Go all the way back past 3 tables, sit on the right side of the wall, and face the accessories or something like that." Like. And then you always just see people with the wandering eyes and the wandering heads, and it's ridiculous. Why can't there be dedicated sections in a store? And I understand not all stores are the same layout, not all stores are the same size, but like it used to literally say Genius Bar at the back.
Yep.
I understand you're going for more of this, and I'll get to another point later, but you're going for more of this like community aspect. It's a learning experience. It's not really a retail store. You're going there to learn. You're going there to get service. Going there to purchase things. It's an all-encompassing thing. It's not something that should have like aisles and sections and stuff like that. But I hope with this new woman who is in that she will kind of go back to a little bit of the old ways and maybe just have some labels somewhere. Like I'm just talking like maybe in the 2 top right corners of the back wall that says Genius Bar, something like that. I don't know. But
they have and now even the other stores, it's even more confusing because now you have the Genius Grove. The plants could help you out a little bit. Maybe it's a very recognizable part, but not every. You're right. Not every Apple store is the same. One Apple, like if you went to Freehold, like I did this weekend to pick up my phone, and then you go to Fifth Avenue, it's just completely different. No matter how you look at it, and that's sad because that's a store that needs a change. Like, God,
it just needs a new store.
They need a new store. Don't get me on that.
But yeah, I mean, like you go into any Target, you go into any Walmart, they all almost generally look the same, and you know where things are going to be. You kind of want that experience for an Apple store,
right?
And that's just my 2 cents. And I'm sure I'm speaking now from more of a customer side versus an employee side because I'm on the customer side now. My other thing is because I'm cheap. Why can't they sell refurbished stuff in the store?
That's a good point. I didn't even think of that, but that's a really good point.
Whenever customers come in, they would always ask like, "Oh, like, do you have any deals? Do you ever offer like refurbished products?" And you kind of have to frame it like, "Yeah, we do offer refurbished products and select, Apple products, but that can only be purchased online."
But you can pick it up in the store. So that is an option.
You can pick it up in the store.
But you're talking about for the wandering customer that just comes in looking for deals,
trying to buy
we already have
phone
something
for my
in
daughter
there.
and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not going to buy her a brand new iPhone 8. I want to buy her a used iPhone 6.
Yep.
Or something like that. Or not a used. I should rephrase a refurbished. They should, and I'm not saying they should have full stock of refurbished products of their entire refurbished store, but if they have stock of some items, then yeah, go for it. And to go along with that, why can't you trade your MacBook in store or your Macs in store?
That's true.
That's always a disconnected process when you're coming to the store because a lot of people just assume that you can actually bring your old Mac in, trade it in, get a gift card, and then buy and put that gift card toward the purchase of a new Mac. It's not possible, folks. I explain it endlessly to all my friends that contact me about getting MacBooks. You do have to trade it in online. You have to send it out on your own.
They send you a box. No, they send you a box.
You can request a box. Yeah.
They send you a box. So they send you a box. You ship it out. You don't know you get an estimated value before you send it out, and there's no guarantee that's the value because obviously you're explaining the value based on what you see, and when it goes out there, you may not get that value. Now I'm not gonna lie either. It's not that great of a deal. They compared to the iPhone, they do a different thing with the iPhone than they do with the Macs. It goes to a different company. I'm pretty confident of that, and they don't give that much back for it. It's really really not a good offer, and you know what? Just to tie into that, they should do a monthly thing for Macs, just like they do iPhone with the iPhone upgrade program. Why not have a Mac upgrade program put into place?
Ooh, there's idea. Light bulb.
Yep, I just had a light bulb go in my head, baby, right above my awesome Awesome. Black hat.
Black meaning.
Yeah. Yo, this is Willie thinking of ideas.
When they came out with the whole robots, I forget his name, Liam Neeson robot thing, that came out and it tore apart those iPhones, and they would use them as recycled parts. And, they emphasize the idea of recycling your old technology and stuff like that. It's almost hypocritical if they don't accept all of their technology in the store to recycle. You can, by all means, go to the Apple Store and drop off your old MacBook, but you're not getting money for it. You can just hand it in to properly recycle it. But yeah, they need to change that. And my last point, I kind of alluded to it before. Should they really change it calling an Apple Store? I mean, they technically don't call it an Apple Store. They call it like Apple Fifth Avenue.
Yes, Apple Quaker Bridge, yeah. Quaker Bridge. They don't call it Apple Store or Quaker Bridge anymore. Right?
But
correct.
There's still like the tie to it that it's a store. Should they add like another name to it, like Apple Fifth Ave Community?
Oh, I hope they don't do that. That's a terrible name.
I don't know,
Tim. You're making terrible ideas.
Well, something like that, because like I'm describing, like it's not like a Walmart or Target where you know where everything is. It's now a place that you go to learn something new, to purchase a new product, to get service on your current products, like that. It's not a store. It's something else, and I'm not sure what to describe it. It's a building. I don't know. It's not a store. I'll tell you that. And I think that's why they don't call it Apple stores
because people buy
anymore.
stuff there.
Right, but that's a small part of it.
But to me, I don't think the name change. I don't see that name change ever happening. I mean, they it's not called Apple Store anymore. But I hate to say it, it's been around since 2001. It's kind of ingrained in our heads to call it an Apple Store. I will never say, "Oh, I'm going to Apple Fifth Avenue. I'm going to Apple Store at Fifth Avenue," or it's going to be something like that. It's very hard to kind of change people's perception, and they're trying everything they can to do that. I mean, obviously, when you go to an Apple store, all you see is a big Apple logo. You don't see anything else. Or even if they have the words Quaker Bridge on top, or even like instead of having the Apple logo, get rid of that, put the wording of the name of the store. Or put the Apple logo and then put light up and then say Quaker Bridge on it. Ooh, that's a good idea, Will.
See?
Oh my God. This black hat is giving me powers of ideas on my head.
Yeah, remember we used to get the t-shirts?
I'm thinking of awesome things. Did you see this ring? That's a thing.
Some of the Cowboys didn't get this year.
Ah!
Ooh.
McCarthy! Yeah, you're done. Okay, so for that comment, you're not talking anymore. That is our episode this week for 2020. Tune in for us for next week, but make sure you check us out again on our Facebook, Twitter, and our Instagram. And we are going to try to do more YouTube videos for 2020, and we are planning a film shoot coming up very soon. Hopefully we'll have that up very soon. Tim, any last words about my black hat?
No, the black hat looks awesome. Mm-hmm. It's brought out a real different spirit in Will tonight. I always encourage, anywhere you listen to a podcast, you can always find a Think Different podcast. Will is making faces into the camera. But yeah, anywhere you listen to podcasts, we're there.
We are there. We are everywhere. I mean, honestly, you cannot miss us. But also leave us a review or any feedback anywhere on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, anywhere you want to check us out. We are there. So, everybody, take care. Have a great weekend. Take care and have a great weekend.
Go Texans.
Peace out.